Associated Press has a troubling report this morning. Smugglers have attempted at least 4 times in the last 5 years to sell nuclear material like uranium to extremists. An operation led by the FBI in Moldova made controlled buys of radioactive material from criminal networks with suspected Russian ties. In at least one case, the smugglers suggested making a dirty bomb they said would be perfect for the Islamic State. And according to the AP, the arrests came after purchases of a small amount of material. So if smugglers do have access to large quantities, they remain in criminal hands. Joining us from Washington, senior correspondent at the Washington Post, Kevin Sullivan. Kevin recently completed a series for the Post entitled Life in the Islamic State, in which he looks at the elements of life under ISIS's rule, including the treatment of women, justice, the economy, and education.
So, Kevin, is it true that ISIS is starving its enemies into submission?
It really more or less is. You know, we've all seen the ISIS propaganda. They're very, very good at it. You know, the Ferris wheels and the merry-go-rounds and children with cotton candy, and it's this paradise that they talk about. And we wanted to investigate what the realities are on the ground, and it's much, much different, of course. And yeah, people are having a very hard time with the basic daily needs. People can't find food. They don't have electricity. They have a hard time finding water. There's very little medicine. People are really struggling under this rule. They woke up one morning, basically, and the Islamic State ruled their cities and their towns. And this is millions of people we're talking about, and they're living in really dire conditions.
Kevin, can you talk a bit about, they establish apparently local governments in territories that they occupy or seize. How do those local governments operate?
You know, not half bad is the answer. They're actually pretty good at some things. They're fairly decent at. People talk about how the old government used to always take bribes. If you wanted to get anything done, you just bribe somebody, and these guys don't do that. But the problem is they've completely upended the tax system, particularly. There are a lot of poor people who used to get basically a pass. They didn't pay any tax. But now the Islamic State is coming in, and they're taking 10 or 15 or 20% of all of their money, their crops, and they're making it impossible for people to live. People say that, you know, they can't afford, the price of a tank of propane has sort of gone up 20-fold. So people who used to live in, you know, fairly decent houses and would cook their dinners on their stove are now cooking over open fires in their backyard over gathered scrap wood.